Hey guys, it's Kathleen, and it's been a minute, but today we're doing my October wrap-up. So I haven't really been able to post a lot of videos this week just because I've been very busy with school, and actually this video is going to be going up, I believe tonight. I'm literally filming this Friday morning. It should be up late Friday night, so hopefully you guys will be seeing it then. Anyway, I apologize for not being absent this week. I haven't even really been watching videos or anything like that or commenting. I just haven't been around because I've just been so busy with school. I've had so many papers due. I've had no time to get anything done, so that's why I haven't been here. But my reading week is starting actually now, so I will be around a lot more. But you guys don't want to hear about that, so without further ado, let's just get into the books that I read this month. So the first book I read this month was Cat and Maid Conquer the World by Anna Primazza. This I had as an e-arc from Indigo/NetGalley, so thank you to them for letting me read and review this book. This is actually a Canadian novel, which is super exciting. It's a Canadian YA book about these two girls named Cat and Meg who get paired up on a science project, and it's just about their grade 10 year and their experiences. Cat has anxiety issues and Meg has ADHD. Meg is also African Canadian. I don't believe this is Own Voices representation, but overall I did think it was done well, although I cannot speak for the rep at all, so definitely if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. But overall it did seem like she did do a lot of research, which was nice. Anywho, it's basically about these two girls who also are obsessed with this boy on the internet who's called Legs, and he basically is somebody who is on YouTube and he plays video games and films himself and all that stuff, so they're really into his fandom and they're obsessed with him and they bond over this and they meet people and it's a good time, and they deal with their own personal issues. Meg has issues with her father, and then Kat is dealing with her severe anxiety problems as well. I really enjoyed this story. I had no clue what to expect going into it, but I thought it was a really heartwarming story. I actually loved the main characters. I thought they were great. I loved that it took place in a Canadian high school. That was really cool. You never see that. I'm always happy when more Canadian YA gets published, so I loved that about it. And overall, I loved that it was a tale of friendship. It pretty much had no romance. It had a tiny bit of romance, one failed romance, and then one tiny bit at the end. But for the most part, it wasn't really a story with romance. That wasn't the point. It was all about their friendship, which I loved. So yeah, I would actually highly recommend this book, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I finished this month I have a full review for, so I'll link that down below, but that is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I talked about this a lot in my review, so I don't really feel the need to go too into detail about it, but I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was very well done. I really liked the depiction of Asa, who has severe anxiety problems. They go about dealing with that and solving the mystery of this missing father of her friend. I liked that it wasn't focused on romance. I thought it was a little overly philosophical at times, but that's to be expected with any John Green book. And overall, this was another solid book, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then next this month, I finished All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. Once again, I had an arc of this from Indigo, so thank you so much to them for sending this to me, and that's kind of why I wanted to get this to the top of my list. But this is a magical realism story taking place in the 1960s, and it deals with this Mexican-American family who have the power to grant miracles. One of them is called a saint, and people who are called pilgrims come to their town every year essentially to get a miracle, and that miracle is something really strange. Essentially, it's something that kind of seems like a curse when it happens, but then a second miracle happens later, and that's supposed to be a good thing. I found this story really slow for the first half of it. I was kind of not invested in it from about page 100, page 200, and after that it did start to pick up. I really liked the characters, I really liked the arcs. However, I will say for this, there's been a lot of criticism of this book for essentially cultural appropriation, and I totally understand and respect those criticisms and see where they're coming from. I really cannot comment whatsoever on the representation, so I don't want to go too into that. However, it did seem kind of stereotypical and cliched at times. That's all I can really say. That's all I really know for sure, but I will find some people who had some thoughts on it, and I'll try to link that in the description. But yeah, that's just something to be aware of if you do want to read this book. I liked the magical realism elements. I'd never read a story like that before, so that was kind of cool. I'd like to kind of see what else is in this genre to learn more about it, because I did find this book really interesting. For enjoyment's sake, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, but I will say be aware of the issues surrounding it, and that some people did have problems with it for cultural appropriation reasons. So then the next book I finished this month, I actually listened to an audiobook, but I do have a physical copy of it because my friend had an extra and she just gave it to me. So that's This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Now if you know me, you know I love the Darker Shade of Magic series, which I read in the summer. I was so obsessed with it. I thought they were the best, and I really loved them, and I was so excited to pick up another Victoria Schwab book. I actually started this way back at the end of June, and I just had never gone back to listening to it. I'm someone for whom audiobooks can take a long time to finish depending on how much time I have, and this is one of the ones I kind of just put aside for other things. So it took me about 4 months to finish. In the process, I kind of forgot a lot of the world building and what was going on, but honestly, By the time I was halfway through, I was listening to for the Cozy-a-thon, and that's what kind of encouraged me to keep listening to it. Honestly, by the time I was getting through it, it didn't even matter. I loved it so much. This is a story about two teenagers, Kate Harker and August Flynn. Kate is on the side of her father, who runs one side of their city, and he sort of makes deals with the monsters and basically keeps that side of the city safe. And August is on the side of his father on the other side, but August actually is one of the monsters. He's a Sunai and he steals people's souls, and he's sent to the same school as Kate essentially to keep an eye on her, but then one day somebody attacks Kate out of nowhere and they're forced to go on the run together. It is such a fun book, but also kind of heart-wrenching at times. I loved this story so much. Victoria Shaw's writing is so beautiful. She's like one of my 100% favorite authors, auto buy now. I love her, and I love the characters so much. Kate Harker is just like my child. I love her. I would die for her. She's the best. A lot of people like August Flynn more than they like Kate, and there's just something about Kate that I think is awesome. I loved her so much. So yeah, I really loved this book, you guys. I would highly, highly recommend the audiobook as well. Taurus Plummer did a great job. I loved it. It was so well done. It made me really think how much I loved audiobooks again. So yeah, I just highly recommend this story as a whole, and I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And the next book I finished this month was our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. I know it took me 4 months to listen to the first book, and this took me about 3 days to read because I was just so obsessed with it. It would have taken me a day to read if I hadn't had other things to do and other books I had to read for school. I could not put this down. I loved it. I flew through it. I was obsessed with it. I went through it faster than The Savage Song, obviously, but I think I also just liked it more. I loved the new characters we got to meet. I loved Kate and August. They are my favorites. Kate is my child. I love that this was a little bit darker and a little bit more intense. It was a bit different, and I liked that. It was a bit of a change from the first one, but I enjoyed it so much. It's been 9 days and I'm still not over the ending of this book. If you know what happens, please comment below and we can talk about it because I just want to cry. Overall, however, I loved this book and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So that was it for my October wrap up. I'm sorry if the camera keeps changing angles and being weird throughout this video. I'm having some issues holding it up. But those are all the books I've read this month. Let me know what you guys read this month, especially if you've read any of the same things I read. I would love to know, especially our Dark Duet, so we can talk and cry together. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe on your way out if you're new here. I upload videos every Tuesday and Friday with occasional bonus uploads throughout the week as I please. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, links will all be in the description. But in the meantime, I will see you guys next time.